Slicked and Fluffy Souffle have become favorites for many children around the world with their messages of inclusivity, kindness, and empathy. And now they're back with a brand new series on Family Junior. It's called The Fabulous Show with Fay and Fluffy and promises more reading, fun, and laughter. Joining us live now on CP24 Breakfast are Fay and Fluffy. Good morning to you both. I love the pink, I love the red. Let's start with you, Fay. How did the idea come about for this new show, and what are you hoping kids and parents can take away from it?
Well, the origins of it was I was inspired by Michelle T., who is an activist based in the U.S., who initiated the whole drag queen storytime phenomenon. I read about it online about 6 years ago, and I approached Fluffy, my friend Caleb here, as we had already had previous experiences of working together and performing. And I said, let's do this. And I'm a kindergarten teacher. I've been teaching with the TDSB for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted an opportunity to bring my drag and perform with my students. And so we just started doing it with the Toronto Public Library and Glad Day Books in the city. And we've been celebrating 5 years of Fay and Fluffy Storytime.
Wow, so, that's awesome. Now, I have to ask you, Fluffy, what has the reception been like from both parents and kids when you started doing the free drag story time for kids?
It was incredible right off the bat. From the very first one we did, I mean, Fay is a sensitive one and teared up seeing the kids that were there and the families that were there to support us. Mm-hmm. So this is just building upon that. We've had so many people reaching out telling us that, you know, their kids have been inspired to be reading, that their kids are feeling accepted and celebrated, and that their families are feeling accepted and celebrated. And we've done this in, you know, specifically spaces that are for the LGBTQ plus community, but we've also done it at Harbourfront Centre and the Art Gallery of Ontario and the Royal Ontario Museum. And this really is a thing for everybody because everybody's got LGBTQ people in their family. Everybody has them in our communities, in our schools. And so this is just a way to teach kids that, you know, difference is great and we should be accepting everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, like TV shows, programs, they do have to adapt and evolve with the times. And we are in different times, more accepting times, thank goodness. Now, Fay, you mentioned that you are a teacher with the TDSB. How do we as parents, as adults, encourage acceptance and teach kids at a young age, even toddlers, about inclusion? I mean, is this something that really has to start at home?
Well, I mean, it can start at home, absolutely. If you're modeling that and just sort of being inclusive and diverse and embracing and accepting, involved in your community, I mean, that is so vitally important. But there's so many incredible resources that are out there right now in children's literature. Like, it is such an incredible time. And really, what is, you know, vitally important is that children see themselves reflected in the materials that they're reading. Mm-hmm. And it's important that everyone feels seen. Like, that's really what this is about, you know? Like, we're talking about inclusion, and that means there's space for everyone, that this is a safe environment so that families and children can see themselves reflected in the materials that we use and share, which you will see on our show, which is exclusively on Family Junior, starting on this Sunday at 7 p.m.
That's awesome. Okay, last question for you, Fluffy. You identify as trans and queer. I'm curious to know what it was like growing up for you, and if you had a show like Fay and Fluffy growing up, how would your life have been different?
When we first started working on the show, they asked us for, you know, little tidbits or little things about what this show means to us. And I said that this show is a love letter to my childhood self, because back then I did express that I was a boy when I was 2 years old, but I wasn't seen as such. And so it was many years of not knowing what was going on with myself, feeling confused, feeling distanced, not feeling understood, and just not knowing that there was other options out there. And, you know, Fay and Fluffy certainly aren't going to turn kids trans or queer. We are just putting out information that this exists. I exist as a trans person. I exist as a non-binary performer who uses they, them pronouns. And we had a parent come to us afterwards and say, thank you so much for coming out as non-binary. I could tell my kid that we're going to see someone that uses they, them like I do. So just being able to have those dialogues with kids because we exist is the biggest thing. And so we just want to be seen, and we want those kids to be seen. And we want them to be good allies. We want them to be good community members. And it's all about, learning about each other. And kids are sponges. So kids don't grow up thinking about, not including people and, difference is weird. Kids kind of are taught that.
Yeah.
And so we just want them to see all these diverse kids, all these diverse performers. Our guests are amazing.
Yeah.
So we're so excited about the show.
And can I just say this quickly? You know what? We can learn so much from children. They are so embracing and open, and they can see right through adults, they're very quick at, if you're disingenuous, they're going to clock. So kids really get it. And all they really need, as Caleb had mentioned, was they're sponges. They're eager for knowledge. All they really need is to understand and have an answer as to what their query is, what their curiosity is about. And so just be straightforward and honest with your child, because they'll get it. They truly do. I've been teaching kindergarten for 7 years now. It's my favorite grade to teach.
Wow.
They're incredibly generous.
I commend you, Faye, because I have 3 boys myself, and I can attest to them being sponges, and they're honest to a T. They'll tell me, Mom, you're wearing makeup. That's cheating. Anyways, Fay and Fluffy, congratulations on your new show, premiering exclusively on Family Junior Sunday, February 20th. Really appreciate this important chat. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Take care.